there's AI and then there's really bad generative AI.
From when I was involved in 2017, 2018, I think Web3 failed.
We did AI before it was cool. And that's still the uncool side of AI, right?
Thinking about the concept of Web3. So, and I'd love to just get your guys' take on this as well before we finally wrap up, is when people say Web3, what they mean is it's the next version after Web 2. Well, Web 2 was interactive and social media websites. Web 1 was just the World Wide Web. Everything was pretty much static, apart from maybe some marquee text in HTML. It was all tables and frames. We then got dynamic and we got mobile with Web 2. Web 3 is the next evolution. And I think it was Gavin Wood that actually coined it as being for blockchain with Web3. And he took hold of it and said, okay, well, blockchain is now Web3. So Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, all of these things are Web3. I do not believe that Bitcoin is part of Web3. And we can talk about that in probably an After Dark episode. My view on the difference between Bitcoin, crypto, and Web3 is definitely something we can debate about. But Web3 was taken up by blockchain, but we're getting some adoption in blockchain online and logging in with wallets and stuff. But I would say we're getting less adoption than we are for AI. And AI is changing the way the internet moves very, very quickly. Whether you're thinking about it from the point of view of the contents of like trash heap to a degree. Like, I don't know if you've seen any of these posts on Reddit, but the amount of like now research papers that have just been written by GPT, like you just search for, as an AI in Google Scholar and it comes up with lists of stuff. You've got images, you go on YouTube Shorts now, half of them are just AI generated garbage. There's AI and then there's really bad generative AI. But all of these but regardless of whether you like it or not, AI has been integrated into every part of the internet. And I think there's actually a very good case to say that tokenization of the internet, which essentially is what blockchain and Web3 is kind of thought of now, would be more likely Web 4 and be something to be built on top of a new AI layer. And that Web3 should maybe actually be reserved for AI. Like, so these are but there's no right or wrong answer here. It's a kind of an open-ended question.
Being involved from when I was involved in 2017, 2018, I think Web3 failed.
And I don't think it existed. It existed at that point, right? Like it was.
Well, it's when ICOs and things like that were coming out.
Yeah, was the Web3 term then already there? I think we were still like just in the blockchain industry. At least that's how I always perceived it as a builder. But
it evolved from there.
Yeah.
But to rephrase, then, when I was working in it and we were calling it Web3, which was 2017, 2018.
Yeah, you're right.
We were releasing ICOs. The whole concept, like the vision of the industry, was things were going to be decentralized identity, money, all of like the whole point of it was that we were going to decentralize away control of the financial sector away from governments that didn't really care about us as individuals. We would regain agency over our funds and how we were going to make that work. I think the reason why I say I think Web3 failed is 70-something percentage, 73-ish% of blockchain projects are on Amazon hosting services. Not really
the front ends are.
There are nodes sometimes too.
If Amazon were to turn off, the decentralized dream would turn off with it, regardless of the percentage. And that is just fundamentally against what we were working on in 2017, 2018. I agree with your perception on AI. And I actually think AI is the more usable, more interesting. It's gathered more velocity than I can make some money with crypto. In the circles I run in, it's more practical. There's still a lot of complexity around blockchain that a lot of people don't understand. I barely understand. That is a barrier to entry, whereas AI is kind of, I'm talking to, the end user. They're just like, okay, I get what this does. I can conceptually understand it.
So I want to say that I think you make a really good point there, which kind of backs up my view of kind of blockchain needs to kind of leapfrog AI a little bit in terminology, but I don't know whether we can reclaim the vernacular now. But the reason why I say that is I've just done a Twitter space today with the guys from the Internet Computer, ICP. And you also look at what Arweave are doing now with their virtualization and stuff. I think that decentralized computing and decentralized cloud is really starting to find its feet, but it's now behind AI in that thing. So I think it does really so fit of tokenization of things kind of needs to be Web 4, but I think we kind of stuck with it now.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about tokenization, like I remember we already tokenized data back in the day when we worked at AWS, right? You needed to buy tokens to compute data. So there was some tokenization going on. That's always like, I don't know, an engineer told me that a while ago. I'm like, shit, man. That's
but it wasn't tokenized on a decentralized blockchain.
No, it wasn't. No, and so like I maybe I have a couple spicy takes on both AI and blockchain, because like I'm long enough in the space probably to be a degen and I love it, but I'm also very skeptical, right? Like I said earlier, like how I look at blockchain, do you really need a blockchain? 90% of the times we've asked that question to agencies to projects, they don't, right? Like they want it because it's cool, it's hip, but they don't really understand it. And then secondly, sometimes you need blockchain, but you don't need crypto. Hyperledger is a great, like, you know, it's a great solution for a lot of issues, enterprise issues that I think solve a lot of good things. So for me, it's like, and then secondly, do you need decentralized blockchain? Like a lot of solutions, you need immutable, right? You need transparency. Do you need decentralized? I don't know. Like, does your average SaaS platform need decentralized data? Do they really want to give up that data? Because that's also, I always love that discussion around like decentralized social media. And don't get me wrong here, I really love the perspective of Web3 and being decentralized, right? Like let's say decentralization of your data. Practically, if you look at what a Facebook does or what an X does, what is their biggest stack? It's data, right? Like, everybody's like, yeah, but if we get big enough, then Facebook has no choice then to use decentralized data. It's like, I doubt it. Like, we're talking about 2 billion and some change users. Like, they're not gonna switch because you're talking about like your data. Nobody cares, and that's the problem of what we've seen in blockchain for a long time. We're focusing very heavily on technology, right? Everybody's always like, oh, I did this really cool thing and it's powered by blockchain. I always said, does my mom care? No. Does my dad care? No. Does my sister care, who's 10 years older than me?
Yeah,
no.
But when Facebook collapses, just like MySpace did, and you lose all of your data and access to everything, you'll be wishing you were using Lens.
I fully agree. But I'd argue that even if that breaks down and collapses, and I surely hope so, together with all the other big social media companies.
On a longer time frame, it will.
Oh no, it will. But it's like it's data.
Everything fails eventually.
People will keep like there needs to be a move, but I think the movement of decentralization takes a lot longer time than what people think. I feel, and I had some discussion like, oh no, it's like 5 to 10 years. I'm like, no, I think it's close to 20 to 40, because it's a really long, like you're talking about data that's like oil. It's like it's asking Saudi Arabia to say, oh yeah, we're switching to electric right now. Saudi Arabia will say, yeah, well, it's great, but we're still selling oil. We're not going to just throwing our oil away, right? Like there's a lot of resistance from big companies, and there's a lot of lobby behind it. So I'm very curious where this leads us. And Liam, to your point, like I also look at Bitcoin, and it's totally different discussion.
Well, I mean, the interesting point you raised was we're switching to electric. That means sod all. Where does the electricity come from?
Oh, look, hey, I fully agree. I had that discussion many times. Like
fossil fuels,
coal, mate. We take coal, like scroll oil. But what I will say is this regarding AI. Like we've been doing data science and ETL pipelines for the last 10 years, right? Yeah. Like we did AI before it was cool, and that's still the uncool side of AI, right? Like Gen AI is the cool shiny side, but that's what all AI has going for them. They have a front runner. They have Gen AI. How quick did OpenAI get there? Like till 90 million? Was it 5 days or 6 days? Something like it was an insane amount of subscriptions or people signing up in like less than 5 days. What do we have in blockchain? We have an ETF, which by the way works really well, but it says something that our industry is more of an infrastructure, potentially heavy finance industry, where AI is more like it becomes more of a consumer product. And I think that
you say that, sorry, but BlackRock just announced the $100 million seed investment of a tokenized asset fund. So they're tokenizing assets on blockchain on Ethereum as of like 2 days ago. So it is also happening in the tokenization part.
It is, and I'm curious if that will actually accelerate things, right? Like I really hope so, but throwing money at something or getting natural adoption like OpenAI did, which got a lot of money thrown at it, right? I mean, what was it like a astronomical amount of billions?
That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's I fully agree with like, but money doesn't solve everything. I have a great last thing I will say about this. I used to work for a project, a $1 billion unicorn project from a certain country that always throw money at the problem. It's kind of like that. Oh yeah, we're having one mother 9 months for a baby, right? No, we'll have nine mothers and it takes 1 month. Some things you can't accelerate with money, and it is really great that a BlackRock throws $100 million at tokenization. I'm really bullish on that, but still, that doesn't, like, the fact that an OpenAI gets like 90 million signups in less than 5 days or in 10 days, I don't remember the numbers, says something about the adoption that we don't have. Well, we're doing this for a very long time, right? Like, we've been pitching and pushing for mass adoption for such a long time. I actually saw that Starbucks NFT program died a couple days ago, which was, in my opinion, also a shitty program. But it says something about bad implementation, right? And we're really good in our industry to do bad implementation or to focus too much on technology. And that's something that makes me a bit sad, because there's a lot of good solutions out there, and I'm sure you've both seen them. And it's just a shame that they're not being shown for what they really are, and instead pitched as, oh, it's a great blockchain solution. Nobody cares, right? Sorry.
So, I think this is we're delving into what, and we're going to, I think, stop this at this point. Although I'm going to get the final say. This is essentially what the three after the dark, because like this is the stuff we're going to go into. We're going to push back on each other much more than this. The one thing I just wanted to leave it on was, you also just said that you were building an AI before it was cool. AI was being built and has been worked on for 20, 30 years. So you've got to remember that as well. Like, you think, oh, AI got adoption really quickly. Generative AI got adoption. I was using Da Vinci in like 2019 or whatever. Like, and there were other models before that. So it had its unicorn app moment. We need something similar in Web3. Yes, I would agree.
Yes.
But I think it's wrong to suggest that they're like parallels. Like, OpenAI came out of nowhere with this AI thing. I mean,
no, okay. I fully agree. And again, this is an after dark discussion, 100%. But I will say that what is it? They do have a front runner, right? And
I'm sure I do. You folded your hands real quick there, Thomas. I'm not sure I do agree with you.
Well, I mean, like, no, I will.
AI is the consumer side.
No, but
and blockchain is like the infrastructure.
Okay, we're going full after dark though. No, of course, there's been AI versions of AI video editing, AI this. Yeah. Like, what it was is actually way less penetration than blockchain's got. I actually say that blockchain and tokenization has got massive amount of penetration over its time. Look, like Coinbase becomes, every top of the bull market, Coinbase becomes the #1 finance app on downloads. Yes. The only AI app that before ChatGPT was maybe a #1 was probably some sort of face fixing app for Instagram photos. So no, I call bullshit.
Well, I mean, okay, so and like, I'm not sure if we're comparing like the whole AI industry or Gen AI with blockchain, right? Because I think
have to compare the whole AI industry. You can't say, oh, Gen AI is a new thing now. Oh, okay, when we finally get component market fit in blockchain, I'll say this is not blockchain anymore. This is Gen blockchain, and we've just got adoption in the first week, and it's the best. We're going to carry this conversation on here in the very first What the Three After Dark, and the three of us are going to duke it out. So you've got a little bit of taster of what's going on, and the fact that I've stopped, I feel like I'm going to get like hit on two sides because we've got my kind of final view on it.